Hey, Merkaba. How's it going?
Look,
There's a remote on the ground where the demon lord Lucifer was. Lucifer's design is such a downgrade in this game. Just like the four angels. Merkaba picked up the remote.
with this, all this world's filth will be cleansed. It is time for the Great Abaddon to swallow Tokyo, and we are no exception. We too have brushed against filth, and been spattered with their blood. I trust you take my meaning.
Merkaba passed the remote's button.
The day will never come that he looks upon the world he has saved. Which is why this is small comfort. Though it is not much, I shall show you the future of the world he chose. In years to come, it will be known as a holy land. And though he will not be present in person, he will live on there as a great hero. As the Messiah who returned peace.
Okay, that's actually kind of neat. That's cool.
The voices of the people cultivating the land.
I imagine this happens whatever route you pick. Probably.
They will echo through the eastern kingdom of Mikado today and into tomorrow.
Thus was a world created where all that is evil outstead. The peace that the people know today shall last forever. It's a world populated only with the innocent, the world God no longer the world God longed to see. Words. Alright, there you have it. SMT IV complete. It's no secret that it's probably I don't like the route I picked, and I could have went neutral, but neutral's not what I wanted. So yeah, very, very unsatisfying ending. It's not even like the fact that at first it was like the fact that like, oh, I don't want to side with Jonathan, I want to side with Walter. That was the problem. But then they started to bring up this thing of like, oh, we have to like swallow Tokyo. We have to use Abaddon to swallow Tokyo of all its filth or whatever. And Jonathan was even like not really for it. And then he kind of just did it. Like, putting aside the fact that I wanted to get the Walter ending rather than the Jonathan ending, it's still like, I still didn't really like that angle. Like, I was already not gonna want Law, but Law just seems messed up. Basically, a lot of people in chat were saying the same, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. Law's kind of messed up. Putting aside the fact that I wanted Chaos, yeah, not a good ending. But there are like 3 other endings. Like, Jonathan wasn't even up for that. Law just kind of doesn't really do anything for Jonathan. Like, what was the point? It doesn't feel satisfying and feel like what Jonathan really, like, was fighting for, basically. Anyway, SMT IV, it's a good game. It's a good game. It's got some problems, but it's a really fun game. It's SMT, you know what you're getting into. If you played an SMT game, you know what you're getting into. SMT IV delivers. It has really nice lore. Also, I really like the samurai. I like Isabeau, Walter, and Jonathan. I mean, Jonathan's cool. I like Isabeau and Walter a lot. Isabeau and Walter I like a lot more than Jonathan, but Jonathan was still cool. He had some nice moments in the game. Jonathan's still a cool character. He's easily my least favorite, but I still like him a lot. The lore is really cool. The story in the game is, like, good, I feel like. I feel like the game does a really good job of really quickly showing you, like, oh, how does Walter react to the events of the demons and everything? How does Jonathan react? Isabeau being unsure. It does really well at showing you the samurais, like, resolves and their paths and, like, what they believe in and etc. And the story in the beginning, like, isn't even, like, slow. It's not even a slog. It does get better as the game goes on. It starts off interesting enough where it's not boring, you know? It starts off interesting enough where, like, you're invested in the game to keep on going while not having a lot going on. And then right when you get to, like, the passage of ethics and stuff, that's where the game starts to ramp up. That being said, what was the point of, like, Blasted Tokyo and Infernal Tokyo kind of seemed irrelevant, both from a gameplay perspective and, like, kind of a story perspective. It didn't really feel like there was much of a, like, again, people were telling me, Raptor was telling me, like, oh, there's a cool tie-in with Infernal Tokyo and Blasted Tokyo. They were cool, but at the same time, I don't know, it kind of felt like the story was, like, running out of ideas at that point. At that point in the game, it kind of felt like, alright, you're padding this out a little bit. Anyway. My problems with SMT IV can be summed up as such. I don't like the way alignment works. I know Nocturne works that way, and I didn't complain about it with Nocturne, but, you know, with Nocturne, I think it was my first SMT game, and after playing 5, I'm just like, yeah, that's the route I wanted. And putting aside that I don't like the way that the alignment thing works, I don't feel like Law is all that satisfying. I didn't want Law for the sole purpose that I just wanted Chaos. I just preferred Walter to Jonathan. But choosing Law just kind of trumps Jonathan's character in a way. And Law, even with Law, like, Jonathan's cool. I think Jonathan's a cool character. He's my least favorite of the 3, but I think he's cool. But, Law just isn't good. It's not good. It's just like the whole, like, oh, we're gonna swallow Tokyo with Abaddon. It feels really like, nah, it feels really cheap. But, anyway, these are my problems with SMT IV. The game is good. But, I feel like while Blasted Tokyo and Inferno Tokyo are cool, like, they have some nice, I see what they were going for with it. It kind of feels like a little unnecessary, both gameplay-wise and story-wise. It feels a little padded. It kind of feels like, oh, we ran out of ideas for the story, so we're just gonna, like, have you go to, like, distorted Tokyos or whatever. And I was just kind of like, also the story was kind of losing me, like, what is happening? Like, did you really need all this? It wasn't awful, but it could have, I don't think the story would have lost anything, basically. I don't think it would have lost anything if it didn't either shorten them or didn't really have them. Gameplay-wise, the game is fun. I think the combat is really fun. I don't like the world. Navigating the world is a pain in SMT IV. Not necessarily the dungeon design. I think the dungeon design is fine. Camp Hijigaya is annoying, and so is the final dungeon. Other than those two, I think exploring the dungeons is completely fine. I don't like the field attack. Attacking enemies to get preemptive strikes is really clunky and sluggish. I had to adjust to it, which I did eventually, but I still wouldn't say it's good. The areas started to feel a little samey, like, towards the end of the game, especially with Blasted Tokyo and Infernal Tokyo. Like, Infernal and Blasted Tokyo, like, the game's areas already start to feel samey. That part of the game, like, the last third, already makes it feel even more samey. But, you know, again, I talked about that. The world map, I don't like. I hate the world map. I don't like the way the world map works. It's just, like, it's really hard to get around, and it's tedious. I don't like the world map. And stacked on with directioning did get better as the game went on, but directioning was not good in the beginning. Middle of the game, it got better, and the end of the game, it got better. But there were a lot of times, there were too many times where I was lost. And putting aside the fact that I was lost, I don't like the world map. The world map structure, like the world map, not like the area design, like Kazumi Gazeki or Shibuya. Like the world map, I hate the world map. I do not like exploring it. It was not fun. That was like the most miserable exploration part of SMT IV. The dungeons themselves were like, they ranged from like good to passable. And again, gameplay's fun. It's just press turn. I think it's really cool. The one thing is, early in the game, I didn't like how apparently demons don't have like defense stat. I didn't like that, but I don't know. I still don't like that demons don't have a vitality stat, but that kind of went away. That problem went away mid-game because the game balanced out a little bit. I think the game is like really brutal in the beginning, and it kind of gets better difficulty-wise later in the game. In fact, it's even too easy in the late game sometimes because Almighty is like broken and lots of other stuff. But what else? But yeah, at first I would say like, yeah, I hate that demons don't have a defense stat, and to an extent I still feel I wish the demons had a defense stat, but it stopped being a problem in the mid to late game, but I still wish they had a defense stat. So yeah. And there's only like 3 bad bosses. Oh no. How many bad bosses? Like 4? 3? It was Medusa, hated Ji Wang Mu, hated Kenji. Those 3 bosses suck. They are the worst bosses of SMT IV. Also, something else, it really feels like you could build your main character really well, which Nocturne did well too. I like the way, N5, all the SMT games do that. You build your main character how you want. It really feels like, though, I'm sure your main character is always your strongest character, but in 4, it feels like your main character is like so much stronger than your demons. Your demons, it doesn't feel like your demons are ever going to be like even close to on par with your main character, which again, I get that your main character is the strongest, but in 4, it felt like there was a bigger gap between your main character and your demons. I don't know, that's not really a flaw or positive, it's just something I noticed. I'm not really like, that's not really a flaw with the game, that's just something I noticed where like my main character was just so much stronger than my other demons, and my demons were just there to be like, oh, this boss has a weakness, use the weakness to get more turns, or for debuffs and stuff, and moves that your protagonist can't have. And again, that's like a thing in all, I think that might be an SMT thing, where like your main character is supposed to be the strongest, but in 4, it felt especially like unbalanced, where like your main character was just the best character, by a mile. But yeah, I mean, it's no secret, I don't like this ending, and it's not just because I didn't want Jonathan, it's just because even in terms of like choosing Law, it just doesn't really sit well with me at all. I wish I could have chose Chaos. I wish I got a choice. It's because I play SMT V and Overclocked, but I just wish I got a choice. I wish I could have chosen the Chaos route. Because even if I was following Law, this feels like a cop-out. This does not feel like what Jonathan's like whatever character resolve or whatever represented at all. Anyway, New Game Plus, data from your last playthrough. I'm definitely gonna NG plus this game. Expert difficulty? No, thank you. Oh, I shouldn't have went down. All levels of Burrow's app skill expansion Demon Skill are passed on. Demon attached to the DDS will also carry over. Other carryover player's choice. Choose reincarnation. New life start. What? I don't want to NG plus like now. Start with nothing, but I want the reincarnation, obviously, because I want the other endings. Save here. Oh, yep, it's got the little 4 diamonds. I assume that's for all the endings. Just like Nocturne. Anyway. The bottom line is, SMT IV is a good game. Now, which do I prefer of the 3 main lines? The thing is, like, I said this in the dungeon, but I'll say it now. With SMT, I know that, I know what I'm getting into, you know? SMT, like, I know what I'm getting into. I know it has fun gameplay. It has really fun lore. Really good lore. And this game surprised me with the characters. I'm surprised of how much I liked Isabeau, Walter, and Jonathan. They're not like my favorite characters of all time or anything, but I'm surprised of how much I was like invested in their journey. Mostly Walter and Isabeau, but Jonathan was also cool. And it's also why I'm upset I couldn't pick Walter, because I really wanted Walter's route. But overall, I think 5 is the best. I think 5 is my favorite because it's just the most fun to play. The thing is, like, 4 was, at times, towards the end it started to drag a little bit, and gameplay-wise, 4 has some quirks that I'm just not really a fan of. I feel like 4's strong suits are the characters and the lore. The characters and the lore are the best part of 4. And its gameplay is fun, but exploring the world and, like, some clunkiness, like the field attack, are not good. That it kind of drags down the experience. Also, the amount of times you're lost in the game. And the side quests. I think the side quests are... I don't think the side quests are inherently bad, but I think because I don't like the world, like the world map, I don't like the world map. That's why I didn't do the side quests. That's why I started to, like, not do side quests. It was mostly the world map. I did not like the world map, so I just didn't do the side quests for that reason, mostly. I think the side quests, some of them were interesting. I don't think they were inherently bad. I just didn't like exploring the world in the game, so I didn't do them, because it involved a lot of backtracking and stuff. But yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, SMT IV is a good game. I still really enjoy it. I probably enjoy it more than Nocturne. I'm trying to think, because when I played Nocturne, I remember thinking the first half was like, yeah, you know, you're kind of doing like, oh yeah, go here, yeah, cool, you're here, go to this location, or etc. And the second half really ramped up. Like, the second half of Nocturne ramped up for me. I like the themes represented, I like the ideologies represented, I liked all that in Nocturne's second half. I was really invested. And with 4, I was invested in the later half too, except for Blasted in Infernal Tokyo. That part felt a little... It lost me and it felt unnecessary. Gameplay-wise and story-wise. So, like, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I feel like all these SMT games have their quirks. They're all really fun. They're all really good. It's SMT. I love the lore and the gameplay in these games, and I'm glad I got into this franchise, because honestly, it's been fun. I've always been wary of SMT before Nocturne, but playing Nocturne 5 and even Overclocked, I enjoy these games. Like, Persona, SMT, they both have a different role. They're both very fun franchises. They excel at different things. And I like their similarities. I like their differences. It's really cool. It's really nice. But we're done with 4. I'm not going to mess with anything else. We're going to play Apocalypse one day. I'm going to get the most... I'm going to read up on, like, the neutral route, because apparently Apocalypse is based on the neutral route of 4. So I'll read up on the neutral route, and I'll get all the info I need. And maybe before Apocalypse, maybe I'll do something. If I NG plus the game, I'm going to try to NG plus the game before I play Apocalypse. It should be easy to speedrun. But, what was I saying? It should be easy to, like, get through pretty fast. Like, everything pre-route, I'm gonna have to use a guide. But if I end up NG plusing the game, maybe for my Apocalypse playthrough, I'll make, like, a recap video. Maybe I'll make a video on, like, the neutral ending, and maybe I'll talk about my thoughts of it, and, like, a recap so people can catch up and see what I thought of it. So maybe I'll do something like that before I play Apocalypse, just so people can know how I felt about neutral, because apparently it's a lot better. So yeah, either way, we'll play Apocalypse soon. I also want to play Vengeance, because that seems like a good excuse to play 5. I'm not going to play it on release, because I just played this game. So, you know. Most likely Apocalypse will be the next SMT game. Most likely. There's a chance I'll want to play, like, Vengeance before. But I might play Apocalypse before Vengeance. The point is, one of them will be first. And there might be some other SMT games I'll check out, but I'm not promising those. But maybe, you know, I like SMT, so maybe I'll check out, like, Strange Journey and Digital Devil Saga. Those are options we can check out. But Apocalypse and Vengeance are, like, next in terms of SMT, for sure. But yeah, we finished SMT IV, which means I can focus on Paper Mario. That comes out tomorrow. I'm gonna play in the morning. I have something later in the day, so 11 EST, we're playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I've never played it. It's like the remaster. I've never played it, so it'll be blind. I'm also gonna play that on Friday, and then we'll do like Persona 5 on Saturday or something. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna start anything new because I'm gonna, well, Paper Mario. I think I'm just gonna focus on Paper Mario and Persona, and then we'll, I know June 4th I want to start something, but other than that, I think I just want to focus on Paper Mario and Persona for a bit. So, yeah, great fun. I enjoyed SMT IV. It was a good game, flaws and all, and hopefully, you know, Paper Mario, Persona, hopefully those interest you. I'll play those a lot in the coming week. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you all next time.